Hello, welcome back to my channel. I still hate saying that. My name is Christi Lukasiak. You may know me as Christi from Dance Moms or Dance Mom Christi or Chloe's mom. And today we are totally staying on the Dance Moms path. I just feel because it is the summer of the 10th anniversary of the premiere of Dance Moms, like I went down this rabbit hole and all of these new video ideas and all of this information and never before shared things keep coming up, and I'm like, why not share it? It's the perfect time because everybody's kind of feeling a little bit nostalgic, right? Can you believe that show premiered 10 years ago? I personally cannot. So as I was doing one of my other videos, I realized that I literally have billions, yes, billions, of never before seen photos, videos, all kinds of things from like as we were shooting the show. And while there are tons and tons and tons of stuff out there on the internet, you know, everyone's always asking for rares. So let's say this video is me sharing some Dance Mom rares. And I went back through, and a lot of this is kind of from the earlier seasons, I feel like. And I'm not gonna remember exactly where everything's from, but I thought that you guys would really love to see some of these never before seen photographs. And if you like this video, comment below. Let me know if you ever wanna see a part 2. Do you wanna see videos that have never before been seen? Sorry, that's a lot of blah, 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 blah. That's a lot of that. So let me know if you guys like stuff like this. I feel like you do, but then again, I don't wanna like burn you out on Dance Mom stuff. I tend to talk about Dance Moms because I want to always respect where I came from. I acknowledge it. I'm grateful for everything it's done. But again, I also want to move on, but I feel like this summer is the perfect summer to give you all of the Dance Moms content you want because I have been spending a lot of time reminiscing, if you will. So I went through and I pulled out a bunch of old photos, and I am gonna share them with you, and I'm going to tell you what I remember about them. So let's get to it. I have done other like Dance Mom videos this year. If you missed my favorite Chloe solos, click here. You can check those out. I've also ranked my favorite group dances, my favorite duets and trios, which everything is linked there. And today I'm gonna go back through and share some rares with you. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to do my best to do these kind of in an order that makes sense. But look, it kind of might be like the Titanic at the end where we're all just kind of like racing for a lifeboat because I have no idea where some of these pictures would fit in. So we'll do our best. We'll see what we can do. So let's start with, we'll take it back to season 1. Okay, so this photo was taken season 1 in Vegas. I think we're in the Venetian, so one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that Clara secretly traveled with us in the summer on Dance Moms. And I say secretly because she wasn't always on camera, but you can catch her on camera at times. Like there's a scene on the bus where we're leaving for Connecticut. I think it's the episode where like Kathy doesn't want to drive. And if you look, like you'll see Clara sitting on the bus with Mackenzie, but then in the very next clip, Clara's gone. So Clara's kind of like, you know, those mistakes they make on Friends where they're like, wait, that was Jennifer Aniston's stand-in. Like sometimes Clara will be there and sometimes she isn't. So Clara was with us that summer, and that was taken in the Venetian. And you can see she's very fabulous in her sunglasses. And she had a babysitter that traveled with us, and they would go on these grand adventures during the day. And then at night, I had this really rambunctious 1-year-old or 2-year-old who was like bouncing off the walls, and I had been filming all day, so I was exhausted. So any moms out there who have a toddler and you've had to be in a hotel room with them, you feel my pain. So this was taken in the Venetian. Clara's very fabulous. Chloe's just adorable per usual. And I feel like, I mean, I'm wearing one of my classic, like comfortable muumuu dresses because I was probably exhausted. I kind of feel like this is an iconic Dance Moms moment that no one really saw happen except Kelly and me. Kelly and I! But it was the night before our very first competition that we were filming, and we were in the hotel room, and one of the producers had brought up all of the makeup mirrors because at that time we rolled the makeup mirrors in and set them up on camera. They weren't just in the room where we walked in. So we were in charge of like screwing these telescoping legs in and turning these lights on. And Chloe and Paige had us, or I think they may have done it, they set up the makeup mirror and they were just sitting and looking at themselves in the mirror, and they're like, these mirrors are the coolest, because they had lights. And like normally if you go to a dance competition, you don't have lights in a dressing room that like light up and like get you ready. That was something for the show. So they were like, these are the coolest. Little did they know how sick they were gonna become of those mirrors, right? But I love that picture because they're literally like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest. And you can totally see that that is in a hotel room. So that was taken the night before they did Party Party Party. Speaking of season 1, I am almost positive no one has ever seen this photo. Okay, that picture, if you notice, if you see what the girls are wearing and the pink background, that was actually taken, it was just a candid picture taken by us when the girls were taking their very first headshots. They were taking the headshots, we jumped in, we're like, oh my gosh, they're so cute on the pink background, girls pose. And we snapped that picture. So little did we know that the other photos that they were taking that day would become like so iconic. And if you remember back, those pictures were used before we called it pyramid, because at the very beginning of the show, it used to be on a chalkboard. Do you guys remember that? It wasn't a pyramid where it was on a mirror that you ripped down every individual picture. They were all up on a chalkboard, and it used to be turned around and everyone was in the pyramid there. So at the beginning when we were filming, we didn't say like, oh, we have to do pyramid. We would say, oh, it's time for chalkboard. Like, that's a little BTS for you, right? Rounding out season 1, we have the photo that was taken the day they filmed the music video for the finale. And I'll be totally honest, I was absolutely 1000% frazzled at that point, and we had to shoot that whole day, and I was like super excited for Chloe, but I just remember being like tired to my very bone marrow. And the very next day I had to fly home to Pittsburgh, and I think Chloe and I landed at like midnight or 2 a.m. or something insane, and my husband was at the airport, staying at a hotel at the airport. We literally went to the airport, slept for 2 hours, and got on a plane the next morning to go on a family vacation that my family, like my husband's family, had planned for like 2 years before that. And I didn't know if we were gonna make it. It all depended on, you know, if we finished shooting that music video in time. And luckily it was all fine. We made it. I got to the beach, all was well. But I remember being super stressed out about that. Oh, I have to share some other behind the scenes from Clara. So again, Clara traveled with us in season 1, again, often behind the scenes, and she would go off and have these grand adventures while we would be filming. And so the episode that we were in Connecticut and the girls did, you know, the outfit, the gold and black outfit, and Nia did Laquifa. I can't remember what Chloe did. I can't remember everybody's dances that day, but Clara was actually down in the kids part of the casino, because we were filming in a casino, and she won all of these tickets and lost her ever loving mind. She was so excited about these tickets, and she wouldn't turn them in for prizes. Like normally kids are excited because you get to turn the tickets in and get prizes. Not Clara. She kept literally 87,000 tickets and carried them around in this little purse for the rest of the summer. We have another behind the scenes picture. Now this was taken in like backstage. We were getting ready to film Private Eyes, and I loved Chloe in this outfit, or this costume. I thought it was so cute, the little gold lame jacket. And this is actually I think the episode that we gave Jill a really hard time about Kendall not being ready for this dance, which Kendall was great in the dance, but I really, really love that dance. I love the fishnets. And we actually went on and the girls performed that number, I believe, on Anderson Cooper Live. So that was exciting because it was just such a fun number. So that was just kind of taken behind the scenes. Okay, in season 2, we did a flash mob. So this flash mob was done in Pittsburgh, and everyone had to wear bright pink. And the coats, this is before we had the coats with the big ruffly collars. They just had like little pink pea coats, and then they had their pink Ugg boots, which PS, the moms all stoned those Ugg boots in the Chicago airport during a layover. I totally remember doing that. So We did this flash mob. I believe the moms danced. I think so. I was totally fine dancing because I had probably had a glass of wine before. It wasn't like the moms dance, but this was taken in Pittsburgh and it was actually a lot of fun. So this was season 2. We were still having fun at that point. So love this memory. Season 2 was the first time we went to Teen Choice. So these photos are actually from our second Teen Choice that we went to. And this photo was taken, we went to Teen Choice that year in a van, like a white, like kidnapper van basically. And we went and like, I remember the girls were so excited and the moms were kind of like, okay, could we at least be in like a black car? Do we have to be in a white kidnapper van? But you know what? We got there, we had fun. It was totally like a blast. So I guess we shouldn't have complained. I mean, imagine the moms complaining. I know, so off character. Then, you know, on the carpet of Teen Choice, you always have a chance to meet like exciting people. So the girls were really excited to meet Lucy Hale because they were Pretty Little Liars, total Liar fans. They were so excited to meet Lucy, and then super excited to meet Selena Gomez. And they were actually talking to someone else who was an actress, and the moment Selena was standing behind them, the girls were like, okay, bye, and they turned around and they like ditched this one girl, and they didn't mean to. They were just so excited to meet Selena, and Holly and I were mortified. We were like, oh my God, we're so sorry. I mean, she was very lovely and gracious, but that is something I think back on and I'm like, oh God, like that was so embarrassing. But look, they were little kids, they were excited. They probably weren't thinking any better, right? At least that's my excuse. And my story, I'm sticking to it. So we did a Christmas special one year. We only did one, and I remember the girls were so excited because they got to wear like beautiful dresses. And Chloe had this really beautiful purple dress she was so excited to wear, and she had like a tiny little heel on her shoe, which was like a big moment. But this picture of her and Nia just makes me smile because like they're so little and cute and like dorky, and they're like, oh my God, we get to do this Christmas special, and Nia, you're gonna get to bake and I'm gonna get books. And just so you know, Chloe did not get a lifetime supply of books. They stopped. So everybody always asks me that. I don't know why everyone asks me. But yeah, so that was the Christmas special behind the scenes, but they are super cute. The same day when they were interviewing the girls, because you always like sit and you do an interview, the thing about doing interviews is really the only top half of you needs to look good because no one is seeing the bottom half. So if you're freezing, you can be sitting there in sweatpants or pajama bottoms. And obviously we were all close with the crew. We all had like these great relationships with them. So this picture of Chloe hanging out with Jimmy Chris, he started off as our AD, which is our assistant director. Basically, he bossed us around and told us where we needed to be at what time. And then he went on to do other things on the show, but he was there forever. But this is Chloe and Jimmy hanging out back. She has on, like with her pretty little Christmas dress, she has on leggings and Converse. So you never knew what was happening below the camera, you know? Okay. Speaking of interviews, these are some of my absolute favorite photos. So anytime we would be doing interviews or I would be sitting and like, you know, talking to camera, Clara was usually off in another room and she would pop in and say like, hi mom, you know, or ask me a question. Again, she was always kind of like there, but you just didn't see her. But she used to love to go and sit in front of the costumes and pretend that she was doing interviews. Look at that little teeny head. Like she couldn't even reach. She's like, excuse me, I have something to say. And she just wanted to be on camera, but she was so little and funny. That picture makes me laugh. All right, this picture actually is one of those ones that kind of gets me because everyone always says like, why wasn't Clara on Dance Moms? Clara actually was. They filmed an entire segment of her taking her first dance classes, and this is the day she took them. Now, she did not wear the pink fur shrug during her dance class. She put on that fabulousness after the class was over. Oh my God, maybe Clara secretly is Jill's child. I'm not sure. But she took her dance class. She was so cute. But you know what? Because there was no drama that went on around it, they probably chose not to show it because it didn't lead to like other things because she was too little to dance with the team. But this was actually taken as Clara took her first dance class at the ALDC on camera, and she's just fabulous in her pink shrug. This is what my life was with Clara when she was little. It was always like wild and crazy and dramatic. I don't know where that would come from. I love this picture. Okay, so often people don't realize, like when you think of the show, you think of us. when we think of the show, I think of like the entire crew, because we had so many people on our crew that came back year after year after year that we had these really close relationships with, that our girls loved. They were like family. And these are just like fun pictures. The girls had so much fun with these people, and they kept them like, the girls were almost kind of like their little sisters or their kids, and they kept an eye on them. They were always looking out for them, and they were really the best. So I love seeing any of these pictures of them together, because it's like you guys saw one side of it and we really had so much fun on the other side of things. Like I can remember, I think it was during the Christmas special, I think there's pictures of like all the girls in their Christmas dresses playing basketball out back with the crew. You know, like they were always just having fun with them. So I love that photo. And this is just another photo. Like there was always fun stuff going on, because people were always like, oh, was there anything good? There was so much good stuff. It just wasn't the stuff that like maybe you remember or saw or made the cut. So the girls were always doing like funny, silly things. Like they built this pyramid. I actually think that was right before a pyramid. They're like, we'll make our own pyramid. And they did that. So they're getting bigger. They were fun. They were funny. But like, I mean, the moment they had to be serious, they were, but when they weren't, you know, they were just cute little kids like everyone else. And that is one thing everyone always asks me, like, what do you wish that they had shown? And I wish they had shown more of the girls, like having fun and being friends, and more of their personalities, because they were hysterical. Like they were hysterical and just always being silly. And I think that you guys would have loved that. Just more behind the scenes backstage stuff. Okay, so this picture was actually taken in Atlanta, and the little girl in the middle is Jimmy Chris, our assistant director, the one I talked about earlier. That was his little girl, and she came in, the girls loved her. Actually, she and Clara were really good friends. They would always go off and play, and during one of the times that I was at Teen Choice, Clara actually went to Jimmy's house and played with Jacqueline the whole time. So like you can see that we totally were like family. We were always together. So that's Jacqueline. They were all playing with her, giving her a kiss. Like she would come, they'd be so excited to see her. Again, just fun behind the scene moments that nobody really got to see. Okay, well this picture I wanted to share. Again, it's from the same day. This was taken in Atlanta, but there's not a whole ton of pictures, I think, of the girls where you can see like the crew in the background. So, you know, I always think it's fun to kind of get like an insider scoop or an insider peek on like all of the crew and the cameras and the microphones and everything that we would see, because everyone always kind of just thinks that we existed in this bubble, but there was an entire crew around us. So just a little fun, you know, peek into what it was like on our side of things. This was just a moment in between, you know, dances. There was a lot of downtime in the rooms, and Chloe and Brooke were just hanging out. And I remember crawling on the floor taking that picture, because I was like, what are you guys doing? And they were like, bleh, you know, because I think at that time, I think I was violating, you know, junior high rules. I wasn't supposed to be hanging out with them, but I was like, you guys are cute. So I am so glad I did things like that. I have a million pictures like this of them, and these are the ones that I look back on, that's what makes me think of, like, that's how I remember Dance Moms. It's photos like this, you know, just them being friends and kids and hanging out. So yeah, I love that. More dramatic, goofy behind the scenes photos with the crew. So the girl in this picture actually, she actually grew up dancing at the studio and became part of our crew. Hi, Teresa. We loved her. She was always hysterical. And I do believe she taught our girls, maybe, I mean, I don't know if she taught them, but she was very open about all sorts of things. And I would be like, stop telling our girls that. And then Brooke would laugh. And it was always like, nobody crossed the line or did anything inappropriate. But I just remember being like, Teresa, can you not say that? Because they were little, but she was like, oh, they're going to learn about it someday. And I'm like, ugh. But love Teresa. So that's Tree. Or T. So Clara wasn't the only sibling who was off camera who was with us. Like there's EJ and William hanging out. They went to dinner with the girls. They were always hanging out with them because they're the same age. And like they would sit and they would be sitting in the back. Like we would be on the stairs in the front and you guys would see us filming. And then like EJ would be sitting in the back and I would say something absurd and I could hear him laughing. And I would be like, golly, he's laughing. And she was like, yes. And I think it was because I had the same humor as like a 12-year-old boy. And the joke is always that I was his favorite dance mom. Now listen, I cannot take that away from Dr. Holly. Like, you know, I am sure that she is his favorite. But as far as funny goes, I do think I appealed to that young teenage boy audience. For sure. Oh, I love this. So Chloe, Brooke, and Paige had a trio. I think it was called like Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil, See No Evil, which absolutely was like shade to me and Kelly. But I love any kind of like behind the scenes pics of the girls before they go on to dance. So they were just kind of doing like a little huddle, like, hey, we're getting ready to go on. And this is backstage, well, not backstage. This is before they went backstage. So they had a moment to like talk in the hallway. And then this picture is actually taken backstage. So you didn't often get to see them like talking to each other or what went on before they took the stage, but I know they had a whole system of like good luck, wishes and rituals, and just like they would be silly and talking. I mean, they obviously would go through and rehearse dances and be nervous and all of that, but I think that they got to this point where they were just really trying to make each other relax because they had a job to do, and they did it better if they were sort of more in a zen place. And my final photo that I think is so, it just brings back so many great memories. It's just a candid photo from awards. Like, I love looking back on photos like this because the girls would be on stage and the cameras would be on them and you guys would be watching them, and then they would stop and do something totally ridiculous and silly to the moms. And like, of course you never saw that. We saw that, and it's just photos like this that are reminders of all of those little moments behind the scenes that are memories that live in our memories or hearts forever. So I hope that you love this video. Just a little kind of like insider peek for you for being amazing fans and supporters throughout the years. Thank you so much for your love over the last 10 years. I'm sending you the biggest kiss, and let me know if you want to see a part 2 of this. Do you want to see more like never before seen rare photos? I have a million. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications so you know when I'm posting. Okay, see you next week. Bye.